Just don't let us look stupid.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Have you ever made milkshakes out of snow? If I was a writer, I'd be dangerous.
Yeah, our back-to-school program has been a lot of fun, and we have interviewed college coaches around the country all off-season long, and I guess it's been about time we got into the softball ranks in this conversation, and that's why we're so pleased to have Larissa Anderson with us from Missouri, head coach of a great program there. She's got a wealth of experience in the game, including her time at Hofstra. Larissa, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. And it is about time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
it is.
Look, we're on board. And I want you to talk about your program, but I want to ask you about your career first, because you were a player and played outfield. You are coaching a kind of a pitching-first program. Correct me if I'm wrong in that regard. So talk about that, how your experience as a player have applied to your coaching career.
You know, I was a high school pitcher and a shortstop. And then in college, I moved to center field. And that's really where I learned how to read batter swings and bat angles coming through. And I was a pitcher from background, really studied the game. I just didn't want to pitch in college because I wanted to play every single day. So that's where I made the transition to shortstop and center field. But just being able to read swings and reading the bat angle, and that kind of related to how I call a game. I love standing behind the pitchers in the bullpen. I can see the body movements, and that's really where I really learned how to study batters' movements and being able to relate that into calling a game. And I spent a lot of time watching baseball. My husband coaches baseball in the Cardinals organization. So paying attention to pitching changes and how we make those changes and having a deep bullpen so I'm able to have a little bit more left-left matchups and things like that.
Old school eyeball test stuff. I love hearing that. I mean, I'm sure that analytics have permeated the softball ranks as well, Larissa. Is there a kind of a blend of both worlds that you subscribe to?
There is. I mean, there's a lot of programs now that we have the ability to be able to utilize. 643 is a company that puts out a lot of analytics and spray charts. Synergy and Dartfish are a couple other programs. But really able to understand what batters' tendencies are, to be able to put our position and our players in the best possible situation to be successful.
You know, one of the things, Larissa, that I really love about the women's game is quick, it's crisp, and it's very fast. And so I want to stay on the pitching thing for a second. How quick are you able to relay signs if you're calling the game and all that to keep the pace alive?
The same way that they're incorporating a clock in baseball, we already had a clock. We have 25 seconds, but they're very, very detailed in when the ball is back in the pitcher's hand, she has 10 seconds to get back on the mound. She has another 10 seconds to get the sign, and another 5 seconds once her hands are together. So 25 total, but we have to be pretty on point in relaying those signals to our catchers and our pitchers to be able to deliver that pitch as fast as possible.
One of the beauties of the sport is the fact that it's so quick and crisp. And I remember being in spring training years ago when I was playing, and we were training in Arizona, and we were in Tucson, and we had a day off, and we're like, oh, the University of Arizona has a softball game. Let's go watch the softball game. Kill some time. It was like the greatest sport I had ever seen, and they were a powerhouse back then. But the women's sport has been so great, softball. So I want to ask you, my question, I guess, is how are you teaching these kids to be so precise and to be so crisp as they play?
I mean, your fundamentals have to be perfect. The game is so fast. We have less than a half a second to make a decision on a pitch because our distance is so much closer than baseball. Our mound is 43 feet, our base path is 60 feet. So we have to be very precise in our fundamentals. We don't have a lot of wasted time. So we spend a ton of time on making sure we're fundamentally perfect, that our reaction time, I mean, there's times we even have home plate 30 feet away from the pitching, from the machine to be able to react as fast as we do.
So I'm still getting used to this, Missouri and the SEC.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too.
I'm just getting used to that still. But softball in the SEC, why has it taken off in the last few years in your mind?
It just means more, man. I mean, the amount of money that programs put into their athletic department, and it really starts with football, obviously, but it trickles into all the other Olympic sports. And the emphasis with Greg Sankey being our commissioner in the SEC is to put athletics at the forefront of these universities and give everyone the opportunity and the resources they need in order to be successful. So the amount of money that is put into our facilities, having the SEC network and putting our game on TV from February all the way through the College World Series is huge. It grows our game. It develops our sport nationally. So kids are able to see what this sport is from the beginning part of our season.
Matt, Oklahoma and UCLA had 3 million people watch their game at the College World Series last year.
Look, I remember a game in the not-too-distant past, and it was an Oklahoma State game that outrated a Major League Baseball game on a national provider not too long ago. We'll leave that there. I want to ask you about the Leadoff Classic, though, Larissa, because it looks to me like, and I think it's true in college baseball as well, like the conference portion of your schedule is fairly short, certainly by comparison to what we deal with in Major League Baseball. So you have the Leadoff Classic on February 10th, which is about, almost an exact month before you begin conference play. Is this a place where you do a lot of evaluating, or are those wins just as important for you to bank in the non-conference portion of the schedule?
So overall, in the SEC, we know every single weekend is going to be like a super regional, a playoff game. So we're going to compete, and we get that strength of schedule within our conference play. So the first 4 weeks before we open up conference play, it's to prepare us for that conference season. We have a wide variety of high-level Power 5 schools. We have Texas that we're opening up with. We have Northwestern. Both of those teams were in the College World Series. And then some mid-majors, some HBCUs to be able to give us a good blend so we don't go into our conference play completely demoralized. We just want to make sure that we're competitive, but also that we are exposing our weaknesses so we know what we need to improve on to go into conference play.
All right, so this is what I like to ask all the coaches. This is your recruitable spiel for me. I'm a recruitable athlete. I want to know why I would come there. And then the second part of that is a question, since we're tightening up here. Is NIL slipped into the women's softball as well? So that's my two questions for you.
Okay, well, the first one, the NIL, yes, it has. There's tremendous opportunities for these female student athletes, not just in softball, but in all of women's athletic sports. Because they have such a huge social media presence, and a lot of donors and boosters want to get into providing the women the opportunities that a lot of their male counterparts have been having. So yeah, there's tremendous opportunities with NIL. We have a couple players. You can see I have 2 Golden Glove Award winners behind me. Jenna Laird is our shortstop. She is marketable. She does have her own agent. She has her NIL deal. She has a brand that she's publicizing out there. So it's tremendous for these athletes to be able to benefit from their name because they haven't been able to do so in the entire career. In terms of why Mizzou, why not? Winning becomes a byproduct of all the lifetime lessons that we teach here at Mizzou. And we win because of our culture. We are going to recruit, obviously, great student athletes. But my job is to develop strong female leaders, and I want them to go out in the real world and be successable.
We love the gear, too. Ironically, Harold's kids all wear a men's medium, which is the same size I wear. So if you want to send some stuff to Harold's kids, it'd be great. Larissa, good luck this season. We're interviewing softball coaches all week long, and you have kicked off this feature. So Mizzou is the first in the spotlight for us for all the right reasons.
Outstanding.
Good luck in the Division I Leadoff Classic, and good luck in SEC play this year.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys doing this. And I have to give a shout out to my MIZ.